Ben Bateman here for AfterBuzz TV, hanging out at a Comic-Con with the man, the myth, the legend, and the man who makes his ideas come alive on Outcast. Mr. Chris Black and Philip Glenister. How are you guys?
We're great. The man, the myth, and the legend. I was like, is Kirkman here?
Yeah.
It's like, where did he sneak in behind us? It's like,
no, he's just like handing out brochures for Walking Dead outside Comic-Con.
I don't think
hey guys, watch the show. It's a good show. Trust me, it's a good one. I got this other show, Outcast. Check it out too.
I have a suspicion he doesn't need to do that, but it's like, well, we'll do. I'll be out there, watch, we'll promote Outcast for food. That's kind of, I'll have a big sign outside the convention center.
Speak for yourself, love.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd think year to year that Walking Dead owned San Diego during Comic-Con. It's like that and Game of Thrones, the two things. I feel like it's just every bus, every wall, it's everywhere. Then again, I would say Outcast is in the same boat right now. I kind of feel like I see Outcast everywhere at the same level.
Yeah, well, we're kind of sneaking up,
Well, we haven't. I mean, look,
Tradesman's Entrance.
Yeah, I mean, those shows have earned it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're phenomenally successful shows, brilliantly written shows, brilliantly produced shows.
Right.
We're just, when we were here last year, the show hadn't aired yet.
Right.
And there was a lot of buzz, a lot of anticipation about Robert's new project.
Yeah.
I had been working on the show for almost 2 years and no one had seen it. So there was this sense of, oh my God, what if it's bad? What if no one watches it?
Well, one of the biggest parties of the year last year was the Outcast party. I mean, it was a huge party.
It was,
yeah.
and it was great, and that there was a sense of anticipation and excitement about the show, about the new project coming from Robert. But again, we hadn't proven ourselves yet, and I think now we've aired half the season's aired. People seem to like the show.
Yeah.
There's been an enthusiastic response from the fan base, from Robert's fans and other fans, and I feel like, we haven't certainly earned the level of Walking Dead or Game of Thrones, but I feel like, okay, we've earned the billboards this year. It's like
And you guys are in season 2, which is a huge thing as well.
Yeah, I think one of the things is the fact that a lot of people, and you say is a great compliment, is that people say, I don't usually watch horror shows, but I'm really enjoying this show.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of character driven as well in many respects, and like any good shows, when the gratuitous moments, you sort of have to earn them. You can't just shove them in for the sake of just.
Yeah.
Well, you can, but it's not very interesting. It's sort of lazy, in a way. But this is kind of the opposite,
One of the most wonderful things about the show to me is the fact that, with so many of the premium cable networks now pushing the boundaries, and you almost get this rated R feel with so many of these shows. You can kind of do what you want. Outcast is so dark, it's so gory. Every time I watch an episode, I'm like, what's the next thing that's going to happen? I mean, you start the show off with a kid killing a roach by bashing his head into a wall. I mean, that's in the first 3 minutes of the show.
Well, that's why I wanted to work on it. I mean, that's pure Robert Kirkman. I mean, that was in the script. That was on from the first draft of that script I read, and it was like page 2 of the pilot script, and I was like, I want to work on this show.
Right.
Also, it says to the audience that this is the kind of show we're making, folks. So this is
If you're not on board for this, get off now.
So switch over and watch, Housewives of Beverly Hills or something.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
It seems like with each of the cable networks, and I'm talking the basic cable networks and then the premium ones, so everything from your USAs, your TNTs to your Stars, your Cinemax. Every one of these networks seems to be having sort of this rebirth now, where the first wave of shows, people start to get to know the name, but now it's like, Stars used to have Spartacus, now it's going to have American Gods, right? Cinemax now has Outcast, a Robert Kirkman show, on top of having the hit and Banshee. Is there a part of you guys that feels you're very fortunate to be part of the second wave of premium, where every single network can have the best show on TV? It doesn't matter anymore if you're HBO.
I do, and I think, and this is a project that's been a couple years now in development, and I really found Cinemax to be a great place to be. I mean, they were in this process of kind of reinventing themselves, rebranding themselves, is not just kind of running movies and R-rated material. That it was like they wanted to really invest in their original programming. Banshee was a great show, The Nick was a great show, and they wanted basically to say, look, the caliber, the quality of our shows, any one of our shows could run on HBO, but the Cinemax brand is you push it a little farther. It's a little more shocking, a little more graphic, a little more daring, a little pulpier, a little more lurid, but still based in character and drama, and we feel, you talk about the shock value of the show, which we certainly feel is there. And there's an expectation from both the fans and the network for that, but it's never gratuitous. It's always earned. It's always earned by the story. At least we hope.
Now, your character in the first few episodes of the show really establishes himself as sort of he's a very, very lovable sort of crusader. You very much root for your characters. Do you think there's any chance there's going to be kind of a dark turn with your character as the show does progress? Anything you can tell us about?
Well, I think we're airing 7 tonight.
7 tonight.
Yeah. So really, I mean, from last week's up to the end of the season now, it's pretty explosive for all concerned, not just the Reverend. I mean, so I can't really say too much or give too much away, but it's a ride. It's gonna be a ride.
I love the accent.
Well, I mean, but that is the arc of that character. I mean, the Reverend comes in at the beginning of the season is very much the rock star of this church and in this world. He's a big fish in a small pond. He feels he's got a handle on this. People come to him, and he basks in that attention and that power. And as that's challenged over the course of the season, we will see that character turn to darker places, and do things that might not have been in his jurisdiction at the beginning of the season. So I think, once we get into the back half, you're definitely going to see some wild shit from him.
Last question for you. About 2 months ago, a month and a half ago, we had the premiere at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. I was lucky enough to meet you fellas there. Yeah. For you, is there a part of you that you're sitting there watching that on a huge projector, and there's so many people with so much anticipation, and you think back to those Weird Science Sliders days, and you're just like, how'd I get here? How'd this happen? What is this?
I'm grateful for the career that I've had. I mean, look, I look back, it's funny you should mention Weird Science. To this day, Weird Science is still one of the greatest jobs I've ever had. And in terms of the freedom they gave us, and that show was, it was 20 years ago now, but it was like the latitude to do whatever the heck we wanted. In a weird way, it's come full circle. It's now it's a much bigger audience. It's a much higher profile property. It's something with much greater attention in the sort of premium cable world of today. But the mandate is the same.
Yeah.
Just go out and do this crazy, every crazy thing you can think of, and push it as far as you can. For Weird Science, it was for the sake of ridiculous comedy, and for this, it's for the sake of something a little darker. But no. To answer your question, I pinch myself. I'm extraordinarily grateful for where I wound up, and to do something so special with such a great group of people.
Well, I was going to just say the premiere at the cemetery, and I was with my wife. My wife came over.
You were dressed very. You were dapper that night. I remember.
Oh well, somebody dressed me. I think
he cleans up okay.
I
Actually,
struggled okay. But we sat there, and it was just that moment when the sun was just beginning to set, just before the thing was about to start. Outcast was about to start, and then with the silhouette of the palm trees and the backlot. Of
it was a very LA moment.
And I just leant across to my wife Beth, and I just went, "Who would have thought?"
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was getting at. That's amazing. You guys are so
She
lucky.
just sort of went like that, ribbed me. She always does that. She's like, either shut up or I agree with you.
Why are you pinching me, right?
Yeah. But that was it. I remember that moment. Just as the sun, just looking around, just going, who would have thought?
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, you guys, thank you so much for talking to us today. We're very excited about the rest of the season, and I can't wait for season 2. Say hi to Robert for us, obviously.
We will.
And Walking Dead and all that stuff. So, guys, thank you so much.
The pleasure was all ours. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.